Our emotions are a clear indication as to whether or not our nervous system is regulated. Your nervous system dictates the choices that you make. It dictates the experiences that you have.
You mentioned that your nervous system allows you to basically create what you see. Can you explain what that means? Ready when you are. Ready or not, here I come. This is Charlie Gaines, and I'm grateful to be coming to you alongside Dr. Kat Ashley. Holistic health, nutrition, and well-being. All the way out in Colombia.
Palomino. We're in a holy place, nonetheless. Yeah. How have you been feeling lately since we've been here?
This has been heaven on earth, man, every single day. As what we talk about today is the nervous system. I've been feeling my nervous system to do just like this. Just like that.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Likewise. And I've been adding a few extra modalities to help me bring that nervous system back into regulation.
Oh, yeah.
And I think one of the things we'll talk about today, too, is what happens when you begin to regulate your nervous system. Some things tend to come to the surface that you didn't know you were holding on to. So although you're releasing and resetting, it can feel very chaotic and it can feel very tiring, like you're constantly tired. But imagine if we kept driving a car while we were fixing it. That's how I see it. So you gotta put the car in the shop, let the mechanic do what the mechanic does, and then you ride the car. And it feels brand new. Yeah.
Speaking of a mechanic, I can work on cars myself, and you gotta have the tools. You gotta have the right tools. So right now, I'm grateful that we have the right tool in the room. Kai should be everyone's best friend. So you're in for a treat with the information that she's gonna pour out today with the nervous system. So we're gonna speak about going from survival to flow, going from warrior, fight or flight to peace. So starting this off, Dr. Kai, what is the nervous system?
All right. So if we want to keep it physical, on the physical level, the nervous system is the very thing that tells your body how to function, right? It tells your body how to breathe, it tells your body how to move, how to react, etc. It can also sometimes trigger certain thoughts and create certain belief patterns. So on the physical level, your nervous system is what controls your interaction with the outer world. On a biological level, your nervous system is a group of neurons that are connected throughout your body, and it functions in a way that I would say it's the thing that keeps all of your organs going, because it sends signals from your brain to your heart, from your brain to your kidneys, etc., all throughout the body. So I think of it as like your nervous highway, your nervous system highway, right? And where it's all connected through nerve endings, etc. I can get so much more scientific into that, but essentially that's the basis of what it is. It's what's going from the top of your body in your brain all the way to the nerve endings on your feet. That's your nervous system. Every part of your body has a nerve, and every nerve is connected to that system, your endocrine system. For example, your pituitary gland, which we know as our third eye. And correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, so we have the pituitary gland, we have the thyroid glands, we have our reproductive glands, and a few other things in between there, but all of that is your endocrine system. Your endocrine system is your nervous system. So it reminds me that everything is connected. And so going on like a spiritual level, your nervous system is what connects you to your higher self. And it allows you to hear messages from Source, from God, Allah, whatever you believe in. It allows you to receive those messages and those downloads and to move through life knowing that you're not doing this alone. Like we were talking about earlier, I find that A lot of people don't dream. A lot of people don't have inner dialogues. And I wonder why that is. It's probably because they're feeling that dysregulation in their nervous system. They haven't been able to ground within their body in order to receive those messages from their higher self, from source,
Okay.
etc. So, yeah, it's mind, body, spirit.
Mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
All right, so to bring it all together, your nervous system connects your organs. And it made me think about the saying, you get on my nerves. Like, I heard that all the time.
Yeah.
You mentioned that your nervous system allows you to basically create what you see.
Exactly.
Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so I actually heard someone say somewhere on social media that you're experiencing life through your nervous system. And so let's take someone who's in fight or flight, for example. They may receive an opportunity or a situation may occur that causes them to react out of fight or flight. Therefore, they have missed that opportunity. Or therefore, they have overreacted in a situation that could have been perceived differently from someone who was operating from their parasympathetic nervous system. Meaning, if I'm calm and cool and collected, that person who cut me off isn't going to single-handedly ruin my day, therefore causing me to have a series of chain reactions and events that lead me to have even more of a horrible day. So in that instance, your nervous system dictates the choices that you make. It dictates the experiences that you have. And it also is, I think, the reason why a lot of people feel like they're having some sort of, like a bad day, for example. But then as soon as you go into the shower, or as soon as you go into the sauna, or as soon as you go for a run or a walk, you automatically feel like that anxiety and that frustration has gone away because you've found a way to regulate your nervous system in that instance. And then your outlook on life is completely different. But on the other side of that, you have people who will feel that and they'll go grab a bag of chips, or they'll go binge watch Netflix, or they'll sulk in it. And so that continues that dysregulation. That's what they mean by you get on my nerves or whatever, or like you are experiencing life through your nervous system. Because it changes your perception when you become aware of how it's regulated, how it's not regulated, etc.
So we all have the ability to shift our nervous system based off of the thoughts that we choose and our reactions.
Yeah, but also vice versa. I would say that your thoughts and your reactions are a result of your nervous system. So when we pay attention to how we're feeling, our emotions are a clear indication as to whether or not our nervous system is regulated. So when we pay attention to how we're feeling about something, someone, something, we can sit with ourselves and say, oh, I feel really frustrated right now. I can choose to react to this, which a lot of people do unconsciously, subconsciously. They'll react without thinking about it. But when you become aware, you can choose to go take a walk and then come back to it.
That's it.
So that saying, let me sleep on it, is real.
So reaction, I've heard someone say recently that with your emotions, your feelings are something that's supposed to pass through you. But most of us react immediately without, like you're saying, taking the time to respond in calm or be logical or reasonable.
Yeah.
To make sure that you put your own self first before having to choose a response that will probably put you even deeper in your feelings. You mentioned that your nervous system is a key indicator with your pineal gland in your brain.
Yes.
Oh, before I get there, I just thought about the choices. You said you could either take a walk, you can work out, or you can go grab a bag of chips. So what are dietary ways that we can throw off our nervous system versus having it balanced?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. So I am currently studying clinical nutrition, and honestly, nutrition has been a passion of mine just because I love to cook. But when I started to see how, I can heal through food, it became more than just me liking to cook. It became me using food as medicine. But why do we have to even use food as medicine? Because a lot of us grew up on processed foods, processed sugars, processed dairy. A lot of us grew up eating dairy knowing that we were lactose intolerant. Grew up eating comfort foods, foods that are high in cholesterol, a lot of saturated and polysaturated fats,
The can in the freezer.
can in the freezers, a lot of sodium. So when you think about what all of these things are doing to the body after consuming it for so many years, it's quite literally breaking down your nervous system, your organ, the functions of your organs. It's slowly killing us from the inside, and we become so addicted to it because of the psychology that they use in order to make the food taste better. The societal things that they do in order to put it in our faces, the advertisements, the partnerships that they have with schools and universities and with grocery stores. The way that we can begin to regulate through food is, one, eliminating a lot of processed foods. Like, I'm talking zero junk food. You can't eat it if you don't buy it.
That's it.
That's it.
So it's chemical warfare,
It's-
attack against the self that
Exactly.
you're deciding upon.
Exactly. And people don't realize that it's programming, because when your nervous system is in fight or flight, you'll listen to whoever you think is in charge, because you don't know, you don't have sovereignty or governance over your own mind and your own body. But when you're operating from a space of your parasympathetic nervous system and you're calm and you're regulated, you can begin to see how these things have been put into your experience and your reality to keep you subdued, to keep you in control, to keep you programmed. So when you start to clean up your diet and you remove processed foods, you remove junk foods, you remove the fast foods, you remove all of these things that are bringing you comfort, quote unquote, you start to see things clearly. Not only are you mentally seeing clearly and feeling things better, your nervous system starts to regulate. You start to realize, like, oh, maybe I need to move more. You start making better choices, better
actually have the
habits.
energy to do it.
Exactly, because you have the energy and the capacity to do it. So yeah, that's exactly it. The first thing that I recommend. Like, you don't have to go vegan. Actually, I don't even recommend that, because that's the quickest way for a lot of people to fall off and not build better habits because they've gone cold turkey or whatever the case is. It worked for me, but that was many years before this was a trend. But I would say start by removing processed foods, start removing sugars, especially processed sugars. Stop drinking soda. Like, it's the simple things, right? When you start doing that, you start to realize, like, how could I have ever eaten that in the past? Like, my body was screaming for help and I wasn't listening. So over time, once you've done that, you'll start to realize that you can hear things better. You feel better. And when I say hear things, I don't mean like physically hearing. Like, you listen to your body and your body tells you, like, oh, maybe I think I'm craving a bowl of fruit right now to help wash me out. Or maybe I'm craving some specific herb to help clear my mind. So yeah, I would say start small by eliminating processed foods and junk foods, and then everything else will kind of fall into place after that. You'll find what works best for you, the specific diet that works for you. I don't think there is a perfect diet that everyone should follow, but you'll begin to hear that clearly for yourself, intuitively.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So deciding what gives you life, what makes you feel better,
exactly.
versus choosing food that actually are death. And the warrior in me thinks about our kids. When we think about everything that I grew up eating, like you said, sodas, the Skittles, the hot fries, and you go to look at the ingredients and you can't even pronounce the words that are on the label that lets you know that it's not real, it's not organic, it's not from the earth. And choosing life will give you life right back.
Absolutely.
Choosing the ladder will give you the ladder. And I always think about how, like, for instance, we got McDonald's, but who really got to do a poll or a vote to say why McDonald's when Kai builds a beautiful burger herself? Like, start questioning everything, every place that you eat, everything that you put in your body. Bouncing back to the brain, the nervous system, and the pineal gland. For someone who's never heard about the pineal gland before, we see it all around us about the third eye, the eye on the top of the dollar. What is the pineal gland in terms for our living?
Oof, this is a loaded question. I believe that the pineal gland is literally what connects us to higher dimensions, to our source, to our higher self. And think about everything that they have done to cloud that. Fluoride, the foods that we eat, the things that we watch, the programming that they've done. When you sit down and you meditate and you do breath work and you do Kundalini exercises, which ultimately is breath work and meditation, and you start to send energy and spinal fluid up to that pineal gland, you begin to break away the many years of programming, the many years of covering through veiling. You know, through the veil, they say when you come into this world, there's a veil. I believe that that veil is around our pineal gland. So the more that we sit and we access it, the more we can access higher realms. We can access things that we've forgotten as a people, ancestral knowledge, wisdom, but also cosmic knowledge and wisdom. When I sit and I meditate and I do breath work and I send my spinal fluid up to my pineal gland, I get some of the most amazing revelations and channelings and insights that I'm like excited to share with everyone. I don't know where I just got this information from. And then after I share it, I do my research and I'm like, oh wow, how did I even know this? It'll be information that I've never actually sat and studied myself. I just received it from the cosmos. Clairvoyancy. I downloaded it, right? From the Akashic records or whatever you want to call it, but I downloaded it through my pineal gland. I think I said pituitary earlier, but that is like, I think the scientific word for it, but essentially it's the pineal gland. Yeah. So the pineal gland to me is that little thing. It's in everything. It's in the Egyptian texts. It's in ancient religions, all through and through our religious texts, right? They just call it something different.
Yeah.
So that's what that is for me. What is it for you?
You made a statement and you said that you're not sure where the information came from.
Right.
So the pineal gland to me is like the CPU. It's the main processor. Like we all have the ability to remember how to speak Spanish, Japanese. We think about as a kid, they're gonna learn based off of what they're shown, what they're taught. So the pineal gland for me is to know all information that exists, all abilities, everything is here. We can read it, we can remember, we could move and it can come to us. So for me, it's like the pineal gland is your projector and the screen is your actual reality. So what you're focusing on, like you said, your environments that you're in, how you're responding to life, how you're eating. Fluoride, putting toothpaste, putting different products on your body, it all affects the brain, the mind's eye, the third eye.
Exactly.
So it's the most precious, in my mind, it's the most precious availability for us to literally change what we see and how we live in our world. That's for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I mentioned a religious text and religions earlier. So all religions are essentially saying the same thing. That's how I see it. Your definition of the pineal gland, my definition of the pineal gland, the Webster's dictionary, it's all truth, right? It's just a different way of portraying that. So, yeah, I agree.
So remembering what resonates with self.
Right.
Okay. So the nervous system we touched on, the parasympathetic, sympathetic,
Yes.
the pineal gland, and also the foods that we put into our bodies. And I thought about the toothpaste, the fluoride. Fluoride's in toothpaste, it's in most waters, tap water.
Yeah.
Are there any foods that you're aware of that may be causing harm to our brain or our peanut gland?
The first thing that comes to mind are carbohydrates. What I mean by this is, as a culture, as a society, we consume a lot of bread and a lot of like starches and a lot of things that have gluten. And I find that that takes a lot of time to process in the body. So if you're someone who's very active, that won't be a huge problem. But what you find in like American society, for example, is people who consume a lot of carbohydrates and not the good kinds, not the natural kinds like we find in fruit. You find them, consuming pizza, burgers, hot dogs, bread, like a lot of bread,
Yeah.
and being sedentary. So imagine how much energy the body takes to break all that down as you're sitting at your desk for 12 hours a day. All that brain power that could have gone towards your work or towards your art, your craft, is now going towards digesting. They don't call our gut the first brain for no reason. It's actually the first thing that's created after your nervous system gets established during conception. So your first brain is doing all this work to break down these carbohydrates. It's having to bring in a lot of systems to do that, and it's taking away energy from your brain power. So to me, it's going to be things like a lot of carbs. That's the first thing that came to mind. But again, those processed sugars and those complex chemicals that they're putting into foods that aren't meant to be in our body.
Yeah.
Again, your body is sending all that to your liver to break down. And now your liver is working in overdrive. So how do you think you have enough blood flow to function? A lot of people are functioning off of, maybe half their capacity, energy-wise. So imagine if you were to start consuming a more vibrant, lighter diet, so plant-based foods, maybe like more lean meats that have been grass-fed. I don't even want to get into the energetics of, like processed meats, but adding more light and vibrancy into your diet, you begin to notice the clarity that you receive because of that, right? And so one of the things I like to show people first is like how to detox their body and then start filling it with the things that are going to give them clarity and maintain that clarity that you receive through detoxification. Because I think a lot of people are walking around with a lot of brain fog. And it's because their stomach and their minds are spending so much time processing all the things that weren't meant to be in there. And so the blood flow gets thrown off, everything gets thrown off, you get brain fog, your organs start malfunctioning. It's a whole chain reaction. So I would say carbs and processed foods. Yeah.
It makes me think about when you said having a lot of energy and then being sedentary, and I think about kids who have an omnipotent amount of energy, and the American standard diet or breakfast of pancakes, eggs, biscuit, bacon, orange juice, all of that just in the AM, and then they go to class and they have to sit, and then teachers are saying that they have ADHD.
Exactly.
It's the food that we're giving them and not allowing them to move it around.
Exactly.
Get it out, and especially when it's not healthy. It's always touching when I think about kids, because I think about myself. When I look at the food that I was eating and growing up on, and I was told that I had incurred a illness that I would never get rid of, irritable bowel syndrome. And I think about all of the hot fries and the Skittles and the things that I love, and now being aware. And I was supposed to be ADHD, but my parents believed in the built, as they would say. So thankfully I didn't get put on Ritalin and Adderall and more chemicals on top of the food chemicals that just discombobulates. And then you take that into your adulthood, and you're speaking on brain fog and dysregulancies in the body. It's all been
programmed.
It's all been programmed, man.
Yeah. I think about the limitless potential that children have, and through the foods that they consume, and then going to an institution that's designed for them to limit that movement, that creativity, that flow of life that goes through them, the inspiration that they receive. It's all programming. It's all been designed by this way, because if you can get a kid on Ritalin or Adderall at a certain age, they have now become a student for life, and not in a good way. Like, now they're going to do whatever you tell them to do because they're now addicted to this drug. And a lot of these drugs are gateways to the heavier stuff. Over time, someone becomes so tolerant to Adderall, they're going to take it to the next level, and they're going to want to probably go for something that's going to make them feel speedy, or make them feel focused, give that illusion of focus. Cocaine does that, right? When someone's on cocaine, they feel amazing. They feel like they can do anything. That's the same feeling that Adderall gives you. All of these are just legalized drugs.
That was, I think we mentioned a couple of days ago, that was in Coca-Cola.
Yeah, also Coca-Cola. When Coca-Cola first came out, like, that's how it was so addictive. And then they essentially banned these products. And I would have to do, like, fact check myself, but yeah, there is a very popular drug that is known to be addictive and known to cause these symptoms of feeling high on life that they put in foods, and back then Coca-Cola, to make people feel good. And think about it now in the advertising, that's everything. It's like Coca-Cola makes you feel good, you know? Adderall makes you feel better. But really, you're just struggling with this idea that you have to be sedentary. You have to play by the rules. You can't have an imagination. You can't be creative. You need to be able to sit in this classroom for the next hour and a half and not have a single thought of walking outside and jumping on the, the swings, and just being a kid. So it's all a part of the plan, and I think it manifested in two different ways when I was younger. Some kids were put on Adderall, but then some kids were labeled as gifted because we were able to tame, like, that imagination and that creativity was more so in our mind and not necessarily our body. So we got to pass, but we were still different. So I could see how some kids went through that path of medication, and some kids went through the path of, oh, you're a savant, you're intelligent, you're, because you can sit still.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's all the same thing. It's just how does it manifest, physically or mentally.
Wow. Okay. Hopping into the brain. I know that there are brain waves and states, like alpha, delta, gamma. Can you explain what those wave states are?
When we're waking, in our waking life, we're in beta. Beta is when you, I believe it's the one that's like really fast, like up and down, or it's either really slow. Let me talk it through and then we'll break it down. But beta is the one when you're awake, you're looking at your phone, you're having conversation, you're in beta. When you're about to fall asleep at night, you enter theta, a state of theta, which is where you're very suggestible. You're very, anything you hear is subject to go because you're just in a relaxed state of being. That's probably when your nervous system is the calmest. Even if you've been operating in your sympathetic nervous system all day, if you were to put on some frequencies that were tuned to theta, you could pretty much calm your nervous system, right? Because that is a state where everything's really calm. It's right before you're about to fall asleep. And then I believe alpha comes before or after that. I actually just taught a lecture on this, so I can't believe I'm blanking right now.
No,
but
it's okay.
yeah, so then we have alpha, which is also a very meditative state of being. But then delta is where things really get interesting. Delta is equitable to deep REM sleep. So this is usually when you're knocked out. You don't know what's going on physically. Your conscious mind is in the dream world. You're probably jumping from parallel realities to parallel realities. Delta is, our dream state, essentially. So I believe that you can essentially decide where your delta experience is when you're in theta. So right before you fall asleep, let's say you're listening to some frequencies or affirmations, and then your brain sends you off into the delta realm, right? Delta brain waves. And all of a sudden you're having dreams of you living this life that you were affirming. Or you're working on the things that are blocking you from getting what you wanted while you were in theta. So then when you wake up, this is, you're also still in theta. Like you go from beta, theta, alpha, delta, back to alpha, theta. You get the idea,
I
right?
got you.
Okay, so you go through this cycle. And so when you're waking up, you're in theta. And what a lot of people do during this time is they check their phone. So they are immediately snapped back into beta. They're immediately snapped back into where the wavelengths and the frequencies are not as receptible as delta to affirmations, to creating your reality, essentially. That's what I like to call it. And so the moment when you wake up, the best thing to do is to meditate. It's to journal. Write down all of the subconscious thoughts that you're feeling while you're in theta so that you can go into your day in beta, but in more of an intentional beta.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I think a lot of people live most of their lives in beta. And it's kind of symbolic because, like, to take control of your life, you want to be an alpha. You want to be an alpha, and you want to be in alpha. So I think a lot of people tend to, first thing they do before they go to bed, I mean, when they wake up is check their phone. So they're automatically snapped into the beta world. And then someone sends you a text, and then you're like, oh shit, I gotta get up now, I gotta go, do all these things. And this is a really good question that you asked, because this is essentially, I think, where people can begin to reprogram and regulate. Exactly. Starting with understanding how these brain waves affect us and the states that they put us in from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, and even while we're sleeping. For someone who has a dysregulated nervous system, their delta state may look very different from someone who's regulated. So they may not have dreams, or they may have nightmares. So yeah, it's like these brain waves are so important to understand as well. And frequencies too. Everything comes back to frequency.
Everything comes to frequency.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like saying before bed, don't have any arguments.
Yes.
Don't leave the TV playing with ratchet reality TV. And when you wake, take a moment to pause, breathe, move slow first before jumping into your day, before getting into the world.
Yeah.
Like stay in your own world.
Yeah.
You mentioned playing frequencies before going to bed. How about like reading a book or yoga, stretching?
All of the above. Anything that's going to keep you in your world and not someone else's world, unless you're listening to someone who's like motivational speaking or someone who's living the life that you desire, and you mentioned reality TV. Sometimes people really do want to be living that life.
That is true.
And it's true. But the idea of these periods of time is that they're very suggestible. So you want to do whatever it is that you want to create. If you want to create a life of peace, do something that brings you peace. Make sure you're planning your day for tomorrow or something like that, something that is going to help you further into the reality that you want. And also calm your nerves. So like yoga, meditation, journaling. If it's going for a walk, feeling the night air on your skin, taking a bath, a long bath, aromatherapy, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, just making sure that you have time for you and it's something that brings you joy and peace.
There's one fly is enjoying me right now.
It said, I want to hear too. I want to hear what y'all got to say.
Okay, so starting your day starts the night before.
Literally.
Choosing peace.
Yes.
Instead of the television, focus on your own vision and what you want to feel. And when you wake, affirm that even more. And that will carry out into your day. One of my favorite sayings when I wake up is, show me how great today can be.
Mm,
Well, today is going to be the best day of my life.
yeah.
It didn't matter if I was going to work. It didn't matter if I had any plans. And I've always realized that it has flowed. And when things would happen that was unfavorable or unexpected, it didn't hit me as much. Or as you would say, I would be non-responsive, non-reactive,
Non-reactive.
because I've already designated how I would like things to flow and go. The What is the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind?
Oof. So much.
Or will we need to put it on the next segment?
I think that'll probably have to be a conversation for the next one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like that though.
we're gonna keep it going. So, the mind is yours. It is your mind. It is your world. It is your reality. It is your dimension. Choose the things that you would like to see, that you would like to be, that you would like to feel by being intentional and being mindful. Slow it down. Breathe it through. And know that it's always going to be okay. But if you choose to be in dysregulation, if you choose to be in drama, if you choose to be in that world, it will be your world.
I like that.
Yeah?
If you choose to be in that world, it will be your world.
Mm.
Yeah.
Say one more closing thought is your frequency is what you frequently see.
Mm. I ain't never heard that one before.
Yeah?
I like that.
You drop the mic.
And the mic has been dropped.
So, and thanks. Thank you for this information.
Of course.
Pray and hope that this information resonates with you and you're able to take any of the tidbits and implement it into your life. Because yesterday is gone and all you have is today. And today is worth living and you deserve it. And again, can I ask you, we thank you so much. Until next time, peace and love.